save it to another file and you play with it. All right.
So, okay. Okay, we have some new people with us. We have Tammy is new from Pinchot. Wendy Myers is new from Prince Gallitzin. Jay has been with us for what, almost a year now, Jay?
Yep, be a year in April or May, something like that.
Okay. Okay, and but let me just kind of I would like to ask everybody, since we just got through with December, please do not hold your checks in December, okay? Because a lot of people write their checks that they want to go for tax deductions. They write them in December so that they get credit for them in December. And sometimes I'm not getting them well into January, which makes it hard because we have to keep going back and forth, and we have to at some point close the month. So when you, and sometimes, you can do more than, one deposit for the month. You can send a couple just to get them out of the way and get them out of your life. And, I can have had them deposited by the end of December where they should be. Now, I know it's a little tough if somebody writes a check, 12/27 or whatever and gives it to you, but the more checks we have deposited and done with, for December, the better off, we'll be. It's just less confusing, and, Pam can get her thank you letters out. And it just makes, it just is better. And then people don't wonder, can I claim this for this year? Or can I claim it for next year? I'm not a tax accountant, so I don't really I do sometimes, if it's not too many days past, I will go back and deposit them 12/31, but I can't do that, for very many days. So just if you can remember next year to get them in, okay? So also, since this is the it won't be too long, we'll be in spring, and you guys will be doing your festival preparation and getting your musicians and everything. Don't forget about your performance contracts that have to be filled out, and you go online on our website, and there's we have the PPFF performance contract. Everything is on there that you need, including I believe we did put a W-9 on there, right, Pam?
I believe so.
I think we did too, but there's definitely a place for people to put their social security number and everything. And some people would rather just fill out the W-9 and then send it to me separately. But and that's fine, but that is just definitely something that has to be done because truthfully, we did pretty good last year with having all that paperwork done before the end of the year so that we don't have to chase people for their, for their social security or anything. It got to the point where it was like, if you want your check, you'll give the social security number, and everybody was kind of instructed that, you don't, if I send you the checks in advance, you don't give them out if we don't have that number. So, and most of the people, really did cooperate. So I had everything ready to go as far as all the paperwork and the numbers and information for the 1099s. So that is already in the works. So again, I think we all know that when you have cash, you always convert it to a money order. You don't write a personal check, because then it looks like you are making a donation when it is not your money. And, if the IRS would do some kind of audit, then you would have to prove that it's, not your money and or you didn't claim it for taxes or that kind of stuff. So we always try to keep everybody out of trouble by you just get a money order. It's much, much simpler, but always make sure that, and you wouldn't believe how many money orders I get in the mail that are totally blank. Totally. And if those money orders were actually lost in the mail and someone opened them, they would be cashed and it would be fine because people would put their own names in them and there's nobody there to question it. So always make sure you put PPFF and, you know, the name of your group on it. So, and also, if you are going away on vacation or anything and you have things going on and you have somebody collecting your money, make sure that they kind of know what they're doing. You know, we've had people do substitute treasurer that people wouldn't cooperate with what they were supposed to do. Like they collected all the cash money, wrote a personal check, and then they refused to break anything down into taxable, non-taxable. I mean, everything was just a total mess. And then when the treasurer came back, he had a lot of straightening out to do. So just please make sure that they kind of know what they're doing. So anybody have any questions up till now? Other than the fact that I couldn't help you with your spreadsheets. So, okay, you know, mostly everybody that's in this group is doing a good job. So, I mean, I don't really have too much problems with, you know, anybody that's here. There are a few that I wish were attending, but they did not. So I'm just going to remind you to number your deposits, not just with the date, but with some kind of chronological, either ABC or, you know, -1, -2, -3, so that we could keep account on it. That really does help. I had one treasurer this summer, his whole deposit was lost, and it was only because I sent him his statement and he could see that I think he did numerical, but it was missing. So now he sends everything. In fact, I talked to him today. He said he's sending everything with return receipt because he just is so, he was so upset that it got lost, you know, and then you have to contact all those people and let them know. And that's not really, I wouldn't want to be that, hey, we lost your deposit or your donation. Can you give us another one? You know, so. Okay, Wendy, have they talked to you about breaking out the tax and non-tax? When you send in a deposit form?
No, not yet, but Ron and I have been working pretty closely together, so
Yeah, he
I'm
knows
sure
what
that-
he's doing, so I'm sure you'll get
yeah.
training from him. But if you have any questions, you know, you could ask me, just, you know, whatever, but because that's real important, because every month I have to do a deposit to the state to, you know, get them their sales tax money. And we, of course, don't want to be paying more than we have to. So that's why we keep everything separate as far as taxable and non-taxable. So. And in that box, you know, at the bottom of the deposit form, you know, that's where you do that. So,
Okay.
okay. So, all right. Again, when I say don't hold your checks back, there's also another reason, because if you hold your checks back, then people think you don't really need the money. We had somebody, I guess I don't know if they misplaced it or what, but we got a check that was 6 months old. I hope that the bank cashes it, you know, because this just happened. But the donor called and said, why haven't you cashed my check? So it makes them feel that, you know, we don't need the money, you know, to do the things that they want us to do. And if you don't need the money, then why should I give it? So just try to make sure that you know, keep on that. So I don't, Pam, do you have stuff that you know, you have things that you need to say? I mean, I know they can't see things, but
Yeah, I'm really sorry that I can't share the screen. I did send everybody an email that the auto reports out of Neon should be starting to come to you the 1st of February. I'm really excited to see how this goes. Under normal circumstances, I hope you all know that you would go into Neon and pull that report of your online donations really anytime you want to. And if anybody doesn't have your access code or your special secret link to get your own report, let me know. But as of the 1st of the month, they'll start coming to you monthly automatically. And well, the Neon system being what it is, I'm, always a little concerned that things are not going to work just as they say that they will. But the Friends of Cook Forest did report that they got theirs. They wanted theirs on a little bit of a different schedule. So she got hers and everything was hunky dory. So I'm going to hope that it works the same way for all of you. But, if long about the 3rd or 4th of the month, if you haven't received an email with your online donors, it could be because you didn't have any online donors, or it could be because it didn't happen. So we'll work through it one way or the other. That report is just people who give online, so that you might not know that they even exist otherwise. And or that they might have mailed a check into the office and you might not know about it. Although I think Bernadette lets everybody know when a random check shows up that happens, check in an envelope that, made out to the Friends of Prince Gallitzin and nobody knows why. So, but the website is your friend. That Friends Resources page has an awful lot of stuff on there. And I hope it helps you with anything you need. And if not, please feel free to email or call, and I'll walk you through anything that I know, or point you back to Bernadette for the things that she knows.
Pam,
Yep.
Roland Miller, Friends of White Clay.
Hey.
Last year, when we talked about this subject a little bit, I raised the issue that on my Neon report, I was seeing deposits that I was sending in, and you were going to check and see. They said there were some of the older format, and you found that indeed ours was one that was showing that. And I never really gave you an indication of whether to correct that or not. Is that still going to show up that way, or is it only going to be the stuff that's coming online, which is what I prefer to have?
I think it's just stuff that's coming online. I think I did correct that. Let me just look at your settings right now while I've got you to make sure. I try and go through and check everything as your annual reports roll in, check update on who the officers are and things like that. So let's just look and see while I've got you. I can find my reports tab. That would be helpful. Yeah, once upon a time, I regurgitated everything back to you, so you were getting your own information back, and that did turn out to be just a little bit much, I think.
Yeah, a little confused. I was getting double registration. I was trying to figure out what was going on. Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
talking about Neon, Jay, I have decided to make a separate sheet, Excel sheet for you, just for your speakers this year, because it was just a lot to go through to make sure everything was right, because we had refunds, some of your people were canceling, and things were going back and forth, and it got so, when I was double checking it a couple weeks ago, it was a lot. So I think it would just be a lot simpler that speakers, for Nolde speakers, just have their own page. So you won't be seeing that on your your regular Excel sheet, okay?
So I'm sorry, so I have to get that, I have to go in and get that myself, pull it down myself. Is
No,
that what you're
no,
saying?
I'm just saying that I am going to keep track of everything instead of you getting everything on the one Excel page.
Oh,
statement
okay.
it. I'm making a separate page just for the speakers because it was pretty hairy, truthfully. So
Okay.
I was just, I think it would just be simpler, and Pam agreed. That you should, since you guys are gonna continue your speaker program, right?
Yes,
So it'd just probably be simpler. So you just have, you'll have two statements coming to you,
okay.
okay?
You're special.
So. Okay. Marcy said she might be popping on, but I'm not. Have,
You're the host now, so you would see her in the waiting room if she was, or she would have sent me a text saying, why
Oh.
can't I get in?
okay. No, I don't see her, but I know there were things going on tonight with her, so. All right, does anybody have any questions? Tammy, how are things going with you, within Pinchot? Everything, as far as the bank and everything, that should be all straightened out, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, things like they look like they're working
Mhm.
fine, so. Okay, well, I'm here if you have any questions.
Sure. Thank you.
Mhm. So. All right, guys, I don't think I have anything else other than just make sure you get your checks in. Oh, I do have one thing. Please make sure that you add your checks up twice and compare them to what's on the deposit slip, because sometimes it might be 10 cents off, it could be $1 off, but there have been times they're not matching. And then, of course, when I do it, when I put it in QuickBooks, if it doesn't match when I add them all up, I automatically think I didn't put something in right in my calculator. So I compare that, and if I'll do it twice, and if it's right, then I have to go through every one of your sheets, compare your checks to your sheet, and make sure that the checks add up to what is on your sheet. And if it doesn't, then but it's very time consuming. So just please, as a bookkeeper, you do everything twice, just to make sure your numbers are good. So
Not that I'm
everything twice, but what?
not that I'm not guilty of doing that for Ohio Pile, right, Bernadette?
I didn't say any names.
Guilty as charged.
Well, you're not the only one, Pam, but it's just, I mean, I do it myself just to make sure that, what I've done is correct. And so hopefully you haven't put the wrong thing in twice. So, so
La, 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 la.
yeah. So, but,
I did have a question, Bernadette.
okay.
We do merchandise, and we have a Dropbox, like we have an envelope system set up where they write on what they purchased, how much they paid, and even if they don't, as long as they write down what they've purchased, I can break it down. But sometimes people just shove money in the box and don't even think about it. What's the best way to handle it? Should I just handle it as a donation, or should I try to guess what merchandise they were buying?
Well, that would be, Pam, I'm going to let you take this because this happens to her too.
Yeah, at Ohio Pile, I just, I put it down, I think, on my sheet when I send it in that says, what do I call it? An unaffiliated payment, or, and just,
Under a
know.
separate column?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you either put it in other, or you just put it in donation, because, I mean, that's almost impossible to try to figure out unless you count all your merchandise again, you know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
So, like at the end of the year, we realized there was merchandise missing, and it could be that some of that money was really intended for merchandise. But, some people will earmark it and say, this is a $10 donation, but you're right. Sometimes they just shove money in the
They
box and
shove,
there's,
like,
yeah,
$59 or
yeah,
$63, and occasionally I get an envelope that'll say, oh, we forgot to put money in the envelope. Here's what we bought, so I can match that up.
yeah.
But other times it's just a wad of money, and I don't know how you want me to record.
Yeah, I try and delineate it when I know if it's, if it's unaccounted for and there's no way I can deal, then, there's nothing we can do about it. We'll just report it as we can report it and hope the auditors don't freak out completely.
No, I think you guys do a really good job with that. I mean, considering that it's an honor system,
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think it works out.
not an exact science by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
Would that we could all have employees and cash registers, but
be nice. I'm still getting pushback
oh,
about
great, and now we've frozen.
But
there we go.
Excellent, now it's frozen besides.
go ahead, Mary, you're getting pushback about what?
By not being able to take credit cards, and I know that's an issue, and I know you guys are working on it, and I know it's one of those PETA issues, but I'm just throwing it out there. We're still getting asked about it. When are you guys going to take credit cards? So,
When you have the internet at the park.
well, I mean, the internet's there, but my understanding was it was a bookkeeping issue with keeping everybody's accounts separate and all that stuff. So,
Yeah, there would have to be 47 different accounts,
mhm.
47 different bank accounts that your money would have to go into, or some kind of way to delineate what went where. And I'll probably be retired before that. So, but I do understand. I just don't have the answer. That's above my pay grade. So. Anybody have any suggestions? Of course, I think, when Friends of Pine Grove, when they have things going on, they have a portable ATM machine. Do you guys, are there any ATM machines in your park? Because that would help, but
Don't know. That's the gals at the desk at Ohio Pile send people down the street to the ATM.
Yeah, the closest ATMs are anywhere from 8 to 15 miles.
Yeah, that's
You're not going to just send somebody down the road.
no, I meant Ohio Pile, actually, they have them there.
Yeah,
at their
I don't think the
desk.
park's going to be interested in that kind of a thing. It's
Yeah, I get it.
that's a lot.
I know for our t-shirts, we have a QR code that they use.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, somehow we got a QR code and they can buy t-shirts with that on, so they can use a credit card.
And how does that get recorded then, or associated to your account? Does that go into PPFF?
Yeah, I think the QR code came from, I didn't set it up. I think former treasurer set it up.
It goes through Neon, doesn't it, Pam?
Yeah, that's right. You did have one of those. They're still using it, huh?
We use
That's
it
what
for-
I tried. That's what I tried at Ohio Pile, and we couldn't keep a stable internet connection. But
Yeah, we don't have a good internet connection to
Yeah,
do
we
that.
don't either. If you go
Yeah.
outside, you get it. If you're in the building, you can't get it. But I know they use it for everything. They use it for t-shirts and they use it for signing up for programs and stuff like that.
yeah. Yeah, I did try it with the Ohio Pile store, and it was more bother than it was worth. And I just said, no, it's cash or nothing, and that's just the way it is. I just, yeah, it seemed like such a good idea, but this internet's just not stable enough to.
Mhm.
But if anybody out there does have merchandise they want to sell and you do have a stable internet, I'm happy to set up a QR code that people can scan, and then it just, you still use the envelope, people are expected to write on the envelope what they buy so that we can delineate that taxable, non-taxable thing for Bernadette. And it's the expectation is that they get a receipt back from Neon and they write their name on the envelope or some way that we can tie that report to that person. But, it didn't happen in Ohiopyle, and it just, the signs came down within 2 weeks.
Mhm. I think one time for an event we had at RB, our auction, people were able to go to the office and sign on to PPFF and pay for their items that way. Is that something
Yes.
that's,
Yes, we did have a silent auction link for RB Winter, and I'm setting one up right now for Friends of Micho,
Mhm.
because they're doing a silent auction, and it's happening at a golf course where they have stable internet. So people will pick up their silent auction things right there at the golf course, pay for them right there, It's all dependent upon the magical internet. And
But I mean, if we had a computer in the office dedicated to where the staff could log on to PPFF and turn it around and let the people put in their information, is that, they'd still
I,
have to do an envelope because we'd still need to know what they bought.
exactly,
But
exactly.
is that a possibility, like on a daily basis, or is that too cumbersome, or?
I would be really surprised if DCNR would agree to allow staff to do that.
Mhm.
Oh, that's true,
I would be
because
really
that's always
surprised.
been the big thing. They're not supposed to touch any of the money, right?
Yeah,
It's all
no, they
that
wouldn't touch it. They
trying to
would,
keep things very, I mean, if they could do that, there's no reason why they can't run the store too, It's,
yeah, well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
it might be worth it. All they can do is say no. And essentially though, Pam, wouldn't that be still going through Neon?
yes, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, they could hook into PPFF and go through Neon, but if the internet is stable, they could just walk into the building and do that through their phone.
Right.
yeah, there's no Wi-Fi, so they can't do it. They would have to
Oh,
use
oh.
one of the park computers, the computer at the desk. They would have to, like they did with the auction, they brought the site up, the employee brought the site up and then gave the keyboard to the person and let them do all the transaction. And then,
That comes from having a cooperative park manager and
Yeah.
staff that won't raise a stink, I guess.
well, their concern is us not taking credit cards. See, we're in a situation where the park gets money the park gets money from the region to buy merchandise. And the Friends Group is trying to take over the merchandise sales so that the merch profits come back to the park, not to the general fund. But
Right.
we don't have the capital to buy the quantity of merchandise the park manager wants us to have in stock. So we're trying to do it little by little, but then the region hands them $10,000 to buy merchandise. And so it's like a competition. And part of it is, with the park merchandise, you can use a credit card. With our merchandise, you can't. So unless they're buying a $2 or $3 sticker, they're going to buy a shirt or a sweatshirt from the park where they can use a credit card versus a sweatshirt from us where they have to fork out $40 in cash.
Oh,
And that's
that's a
the
hideous
issue.
nightmare I don't even want to think about. Oh, dear
Yeah.
Lord.
We're trying to resolve it, but it's going to come down to one of two things. Either we have to convince the park to quit buying merchandise and be patient with us until we can make that transition, or the Friends Group is going to say, go ahead and sell your merchandise and we're gonna get out of it because
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
the money can go to the general fund.
The
and
money can go to the
that's-
general fund, and
Yeah.
that's whatever, but
Wow.
yeah,
Ugh.
it's
Okay,
a challenge.
indeed. Yeesh.
Well, I was just thinking, there's no way just to get it for you guys to buy some kind of computer or laptop, but only have it go to PPFF Neon. Pam, you know about this stuff. I'm just really talking my thoughts out. I mean, would any of that just be possible where it can only be used for one thing, not to go online, not to do this, you know?
Yeah, I just can't picture them allowing them to I mean, you saw what we had to go through and we had the board meeting out in the field to try and get access to use the internet to communicate.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. So it's just security is such a huge thing that nobody wants to budge.
So that would be a DCNR issue, is if the friends group
Absolutely.
is willing to buy a laptop and use it solely for that purpose and have
Yeah.
it set up at the desk, it would still have to tie into their internet. So that's where we would need permission from DCNR to tie into their internet.
And we had to take Connie at Laurel Hill, that's the one place where there is actually a store with an actual employee. And she had to buy a hotspot in order to run the store and get her own computer and her own printer and all of her own equipment and buy a hotspot so that she could pick up. I guess they have some kind of satellite deal, Bernadette.
Yeah,
So, totally separate. Could not use the Commonwealth's internet, period, end of discussion. So,
she wasn't even allowed to use Commonwealth printers.
right. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it was a little ridiculous, but that's the rules.
Yep.
What they don't know, don't hurt them sometimes. As a retired Commonwealth employee,
Oh, my.
it's all well and good till you tick somebody off and then.
Exactly.
Then yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, well, it's almost 7:30, so I don't want to keep you guys any longer. Any more questions? No.
Thanks, everybody, for putting up with the challenges and for all the great stuff you do. Really appreciate it.
You guys do a good job.
It's the hardest job I think there is treasurer.
I would agree.
I agree.
I know who that was. But there's a lot of things that this has to be done on time, that has to be done on time, this needs signed, that needs signed, and it can get to be a lot, but I think you guys just, if you do it little by little instead of letting it pile up or something, then it's easier not to crack, but you guys all are doing a good job, so really thank you. So with that, I'm gonna say good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good
All right.
night.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much for being here, and if you think of anything, just email me, and if I don't know it, I'll toss it to Pam or Marcy and see what we come up with, okay?
Thanks.
Safe travels.
All
Good
right,
night.
thank you,
Nighty
good
night.
night. Good
Night.
night. Pam, I don't know how to get out of here.
Red button at the bottom. You'll end the whole thing for everybody.
Oh, okay,
Please.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.